Señor Marcoida, dijo usted que el CSO se comenzó en Los Ángeles en los años 40 y luego, ¿en cuál año se envolvió usted con el CSO aquí en San José?
Pues yo creo que fue como aproximadamente 1952, por ahí así.
Ya había, ya tenía la organización, ya estaba ya organizada, ¿tenían oficiales
Sí, ya había
o eso
oficiales,
es?
sí, se organizó muy bien en el lado oeste de la ciudad, en el
Sí.
distrito de la Mayfair District.
¿Quién eran los oficiales del CSO?
Bueno, yo me recuerdo solamente tres personas, que era Herman Gallegos, Leonard Ramirez, también estaba Chávez, Cesar Chavez, ¿quién más? Ahorita son los que recuerdo, pero había más todavía personas en la mesa directiva de la organización.
And what was the background of Herman Gallegos?
Herman Gallegos was working for the county, and I believe was the juvenile probation department, something like that.
And Leonard Ramirez?
Leonard Ramirez also worked in the same branch.
And Cesar Chavez?
Cesar Chavez, he was working, I can't think of the name of the place. I think it was working, when I met him, he was working in a lumber yard here in San Jose. That's all I can remember.
Do you know where the lumberyard was?
No, if I'm not mistaken, probably was in Santa Clara Street.
So these are all men. Were there any women involved?
Oh yes. There was quite a few women. I remember there was two secretaries. One was Leonard Ramirez's wife, and there was another lady. She was a nurse for the county hospital, but I can't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Do you remember Leonard Ramirez's wife's name?
Very good question.
Regarding the nurse, I've read about a woman named Hernandez.
Hernandez, last name, yeah, correct, yeah. The first name I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think her name was Victoria or Vicky. No. Well, we'll look it up later.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
So, where was the CSO? Did it have an office, or where did you have meetings?
Well, that time we didn't have an office. When I joined the organization, there was no office. We used to have the meetings at the Mayfair School on the east side. And the office we opened up, well, after looking into a lot of problems, trying to solve a lot of problems, it was necessary to open up an office. So somehow we established a fundraiser events to raise money, pay the rent, and get the equipment through donations of chairs and desks and stuff like that we needed for the office. We were able to open up an office on the east side, right in front of the Five Winds Church on the Santa Clara Street. And that office was, we were able to help a lot of people that, besides the, among the membership, we have volunteers, for instance, attorneys, volunteers, doctors, volunteers, people that they were working for the government, and they donate their services to help us in the office. People will come in, for instance, for police brutality. They didn't know what to do. Okay, we check with the attorney what he would give us, suggestions or ways that we can fight these cases like that, you know. So that was very important because it was something very popular. The police brutality here in San Jose, it was a problem, big problem. But I guess through the CSO forces or one of the CSO projects, we were able to convince the police department to change their ways to treat the people, especially the Mexicans.
What were some of the things they were doing?
They were beating up people with a baton, you know, especially on Market Street. It was a very popular place to get in trouble. So that was the main issue. And things like that, the police brutality was bad, discrimination was bad too. So little things like that, it was necessary to correct. But it was necessary to talk to the police chief, which very cooperative, and he made some changes, and things came up better, for the better instead of for the worse.
What are some of the other kinds of problems people came
Problems with the
with-
immigration department, problems because it was necessary, for instance, when we established, we were able to pass the law to help the people that came to this country, that were living in this country and this state for over 20 years. People that they reached the age of old age, that's 65, 70 years old. They were not able to work anymore. There was no income. They more or less depend on their kids to support them. But there was a law that was, at that time, that law existed to help the old timers, people that needed financial help. But this law only provide a benefit to people that were born in this country, American citizens. That was the requirement. You have to be an American citizen and live in this state for over 20 years. Well, we had the people that live in this state for 20 years or more, but they were not American citizens. So they couldn't get the benefit of that law. So what happens? It is necessary to change the law. Okay? So through help from some of the state legislatures, it was a project, or a law project to be introduced to the state legislature to change that law, to remove that part that says you have to be an American citizen to receive this benefit. How are we going to do that? He said, well, we have to get the state legislature to make that change. Okay, well let's check the voter registration on each county, and find out how many people of Mexican descent, American citizens, are registered to vote. The numbers were very low. It was sad. It was a shame because nobody cared to vote. American citizens, people that were born in this country of Mexican descent, they didn't care to vote. The white vote. I don't care, nobody cared for it. So, okay, so we have to establish a voter registration program. We have to establish an educational program to help the people understand there's a benefit by registering to vote. It's a right as an American citizen to elect the people that is going to represent you on the state government, or the city government, or the county government, or the United States government too. But it's necessary to register to vote, so we have to get more or less personal contact, talk to everybody to register to vote, get the voter registrars, be named by the county or the registration department to register, to authorize people to register to vote. So it was necessary to do that. It was a slow process, but we were able to successfully to register people of Mexican descent, American citizens that were born in this country of Mexican descent, they were able to vote now because they're registered to vote. And when you show these numbers to the state legislatures, we have so many thousands of people in this county or different cities, so forth. They pay attention to you because they are elected. These people in the state legislature are elected by the people, the American citizens that are registered to vote. And we were wasting that right. But we were successful to convince the people to register to vote. That makes a big difference.
You said Market Street was a place where people had problems with police. What was Market Street like?
Market Street was, we had, I think, every other door, there was a cantina. And of course, on the weekends, especially Saturdays or Friday nights, everybody goes to Market Street to have a beer, you know, or have 2 beers and for some hours to get drunk. And after they're getting drunk, well, we get a fight, and then they call the police, and the police comes in, and they didn't ask you your name. They could hit you on the head, they calm you down, they throw you on the wagon, and take you to jail. That was the system. If they didn't arrest 20 people, they didn't arrest nobody, you know. They arrest more than that, you know. It was sad but it was necessary to continue with, more or less make it like a Market Street, a peaceful place to go.
When people were arrested for drunkenness, did they end up having to pay any fines, or did they end up in jail for a certain number of days, or what?
In jail and paid fines, yeah.
How much were they charged? Do you remember?
I don't remember the fines, but it was part of the benefit of being arrested.
You said that you also had a radio program at one time.
Yeah, I was able to set up this radio program for the benefit of the community. Because in this radio program, I was able to announce or made a public aware of the services that we provide in the CSO office, and also different opportunities to find employment, opportunities, for instance, we have 2 attorneys helping the community, but through the CSO office. But these attorneys did not charge anything to the public. If the public received the benefit of the attorney, and the person was able the person that they needed help was able to get the help, the office didn't charge anything. It was we had a sign on the door. When you come into this office, you will receive the service if it's possible, but we're not charging you for giving you, providing you the service. It's voluntary. You want to volunteer a donation, we accept donations. So we're not making any money. If the person wants to donate 25 cents or wants to donate $25, whatever it is. Because we find a lot of coyotes. Persons that will take the money away from the people and then not provide the service. I remember one case, I hope we have time to mention this thing. This person came to us with this problem. He said, I have this paper that I received from the Immigration Department as an order of deportation. You have 30 days to leave the country, and the date you'll be out of this country. You and your family, so you're going to be deported. So can you help us? Oh yeah, that's no problem. First of all, we're going to stop the deportation. How can you do that? Oh, very simple. We have very good relationship with the Immigration Department in San Francisco. I call the Immigration Department. The person who help us work for the Immigration Department. The Immigration Department says, I need this form to stop this deportation, this family. And we have to provide all the documents that are necessary, blah, blah, blah. All this, okay. So we stopped the deportation. The person that came with the, received the order, the deportation is stopped. And you have this time, okay. So we set up an appointment with the American consul in Mexico. With this person and his family to go to the American consul. The American consul read the papers and all the documents that they needed, and they give them their visas to come back to the United States and the residence cards too. They cost them each $25 in that time they paid. This family have already paid $5,000 to this coyote. They're supposed to give him the help. They took the money away, but the person, these poor people never received the help. They just took the money. This guy just took the money and ran away. So this is the type of cases we used to have, not every day, but very often. But the office that we had, we was providing these services to the public, more or less free. And we accept donations. We didn't charge. We provide the service, we accept donations, and that was it. So that was one of the benefits that we had for the people. So that's can't go wrong.
What other kinds of things did you do on the radio station program?
On the radio station, I provide the information on, for instance, Social Security, information on employment, information on the schooling that we had, the school to learn English, information to become American citizens, the schools. The organization set up 3 schools in San Jose to provide classes in English and in Spanish for people to provide, to learn all the necessary, all the needed to go to examination to become American citizens. We had to take it to San Francisco. San Francisco, they go to the examination and they got the citizenship. And little things like that, free.
What was the name of the radio station you were on?
At that time we had KLOK, they also had KSO here in San Jose.
And which station were you on?
And both.
KLOK
KLOK, yes.
And
KSO.
and who did you work with any of the radio announcers that also worked on those stations?
Well, we negotiated these things through the. First of all, somebody had to pay for the time, okay? So we talked I remember talking at that time to these people that they were they had a business here in San Jose. There was a tortilla factory and a grocery store. And I asked him, it's nice when you announce your business, but it's nice to have, besides the music and besides also announcements of alcohol or whatever, something that actually we don't need. One announcement of services that people need. How can they obtain these free services? How can they obtain this information to go to jobs? They're looking for people to work. I had this information, but I had to provide it through the radio program. So the people that were paid to announce their business, they donate that time to the organization. And that's how I took the responsibility to provide this information to the public. And not only in San Jose, throughout all the area they covered the city, they covered the area for the station. So that was good. We went to San Francisco, Oakland, Gilroy, Salinas, all that stuff, all those areas.
¿Y el programa de radio por cuánto tiempo lo hizo?
El programa de radio se llamaba CSO Informa. Y duré con ese programa por 10 años, dándole información al público, todas las semanas. Es decir, una vez por semana. Era los sábados o los domingos.
You were telling me about an award you received.
Yes, the Clifford Rodriguez Post was a group of veterans from the Second World War. They were located here in San Jose. Somehow, I guess they found that I was doing something. So they were nice enough to give me an award or a plaque, you know, because the work that I was doing through CSO. So I remember that. This was 1956.
Ah. And that post was located here in San Jose?
San Jose, yes.
Was the American GI Forum active?
I don't remember. There must have been active at that time because the Clifford was same thing, the veterans. But I can't remember the other. If they were active, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of East San Jose, did you know or ever get involved with Ernie Abeitia?
Ernie Abeitia, yeah, he was. I think he was elected president of the organization.
Of the CSO?
CSO, yeah.
Oh. He had a store in East San Jose, right? Where was it?
Was it King Road? It was very close to San Antonio Street. I think it was King Road. King Road in San Antonio, somewhere in that area.
And he also was an officer in the CSO?
Yeah, he was. I think he was elected. I don't know, before me or after me. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in that area.